we start to blame people if we start to point out the numbers and things like that. We're like, well, you've had this many and I've only had this many.
So how do men feel about women that have had more sexual partners than they have? We'll ask you.
To a confident man, you know, no problem.
Yeah.
To a guy that's not that confident, which, let's face it, a lot of us aren't, big problem. We don't want to know, you know, that you slept with 50 guys and, you know, we've only slept with 2. I mean, it could be a big problem for us. My question is, why do you tell us?
Yes.
Well, my question is, why does anybody raise the question?
Why do you tell us?
I love that.
I want to believe, okay, we want to believe, and we know it's not true. We want to believe that we're the only ones, you know, that can satisfy you both in the bedroom and emotionally. Okay, so, you know, lie to us. Tell us you're a virgin, and I don't care, you know what I mean? We know you're not.
But,
But just change the...
Okay, so I have some data. I have some real data. Because I do this annual study called Singles in America with Match.com. And we asked, actually, in this past year, do you care if the person has had more sex partners than you? And 75% of both men and women did not care.
Thank goodness.
They did not care.
Thank
and
goodness.
I think that is an enormous change. 100 years
That's
ago, if a girl wasn't a virgin...
Are they being honest, though? Are they being totally
And then I asked the question, then we asked the question, you know, have you ever, you know, lied to say to a lot more or a lot less? And only about 23% had done that. About the rest of them were honest. I can't imagine telling a man about...
But why ask the question? And why do women often bring it up?
Or men.
And when?
Do they?
Is it a good time?
A lot of women tell you how many...
Never.
Do they ask
But a lot of men will ask their women, and I don't know.
Oh, it's a recipe for disaster.
It is. And the women being, you know, being honest, like you guys are, for the most part.
We want you to think that.
Right.
You know what?
Just avoid the question. Turn it back on us. I mean, it's a catch-22 question.
I absolutely agree.
And
I think, you know what? The policy I suggest to our people, don't ask, don't tell, right?
Yes.
Because, and here's the downside, and if someone needs a downside, I think, like you said, the security of the man, the confidence. Men do start to wonder, am I going to measure up? Like if she's had a lot of other lovers, am I going to, in all different ways, am I going to? And here's the other thing too, if it's an actual number, if someone like gives a number, then someone that, you know, it's more concrete, right? Then someone can start imagining, they have visual of like, no, it's, but at the end of it, it's more concrete, right? It's like, and if you're with someone, it's like, then you start conjuring up she was with this person, and just mental images that is not well
We're in the middle of love making, and now we're starting to think this. You know, it's like, I'm measuring up for those, you know, those other.
I think the reason the numbers have come up in the past, though, is you know, because there was a time that we all said, you know, it's wise to learn about the sexual history just for the safety considerations, and I agree it's different, and I think it is wise to do that, because I think there's statistics. Absolutely, and now, so I think the health is very important, sexual, you know, that's very important, but you don't need to give the numbers to do that.
And that's the only level of communication that I'm encouraging, which is, you know, communication is critical in relationships, and yet we start to blame people if we start to point out the numbers and things like that. We're like, well, you've had this many and I've only had this many. And I mean, it's just all blows up so quickly.
But we don't need to know about the menage a trois you had back in college with your French professor.
As a guy, you're going to tell me.
I mean, there's no good going to come of that. I mean, seriously.
Let me ask a question. So is this question about how many sexual partners you've had a young person's game? Let me just say this, because I'm 42 years old. So let's say I go a few more years and all of a sudden I'm single and I have this question in front of me with a new partner. I'm not a spring chicken.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So the possibility that I've had 2 people in my life is pretty not real. So is this a young person's problem, or is this a problem that affects men and women well into their dating
I think
age?
it's a young person's problem. I also think it's the confidence issue.
Sure.
You know, if I'm not feeling confident, then I'm going to ask all sorts of questions to try and search for something to either give me the confidence, which is fake, or just to make myself feel better so that I can blow off the guy. And so I do think it's a level of maturity. And you know, mid-50s, I'm not having that conversation.
What's to be gained by that conversation? I mean, to me, it's what is going, you know, what is the...
Unless it's titillating to them for some reason, and they're working it into their...
If we're into fantasies, fine. You know, there's your exception to the rule. You know, it's like that turns, you know, one of the 2 people on, it's healthy. then fine. That's very good.
But again, it won't be at the beginning of a dating process.
Right.
I mean, and it won't be in that first couple of months that people are having these conversations.
But I don't want to get that question early to me either, because I feel like that, the woman's going down the checklist a little bit too.
Do they ask?
Too heavy.
Women ask you that?
Well, I'm still a virgin,
so what you said.
So it sounds like the panel is all in agreement that disclosing the number of sexual partners you've had with in your life is a bad idea. But that talking about sexual health and addressing sexual health early on is a very smart idea. And if you have any questions about how to do it, follow Helen's lead.